Good day or night, either way. Hello, it's TTP Field Manual time. Yes, it is. Hello, it's me, it's Josh. With me, as always, is Jonny.
Howdy
Hello,
ho.
my friend.
How are we?
I am pretty good. How are you?
Pretty excited to talk about some models.
Are we talking about Victoria's Secret models?
I mean, if you want, but I don't think that's really the topic that we chose for our podcast.
Okay, sure.
Side project, maybe.
No, that's a dark rabbit hole to go down. I have a question for you.
Sure.
I feel a little rude to ask you this. How's your hobby going this week?
Oh, my hobby time has been absolutely zero.
Why is that?
Because I've already put 75 hours into Monster Hunter Wilds in the first, 4 days that it's been out.
My goodness. People I can't do my job. It's too much hours in my week. Here's you.
Here's me putting in a full time's work in 3 days, but farming monsters. No, the game is incredible, and I'm having an absolute blast, but it really has taken a hit to my hobby time.
Give me the Johnny's 60-second review.
Game is good, get it. That's the review. But no, it's an absolutely amazing Monster Hunter game. It is the best they've ever done. It sold 3 million copies in the first 3 days. It's absolutely glorious. You just get to mess up some monsters with some big weapons and have a blast doing it. And frankly, I haven't seen so many people in our Discord channel at the same time in ever, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't seen this many people playing the same game at the same time since high school Battlefield Xbox Live parties.
Mm-hmm. It's been an absolute blast. But that's not what we're here for today, Josh. What are we here for today?
We are going to talk about models. We're going to have a bit of a cash discussion, my friend, about the Models Games Workshop in particular put out last year, the year of 2024. Games Workshop in the last few years has dramatically ramped up their various production teams with the artwork, the model making teams, the actual putting products out on the shelves. It's all just bam, 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 let's go, more. And it's a bit hard to remember just how much actually did come out, so I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to go through a little bit of all of the systems that they put out, be like, this is what came out, do you like it? This came out, what do you think? And that's the whole vibe of today's episode.
Oh, sounds good. Are we going to focus solely on 40k, or are we going to branch into some of the other games?
We're going to branch out. I have something for just about everything. I do have to put out the honorable mentions before we actually get into it, though.
Yeah.
So, Lord of the Rings is historically one of the most well-received miniature tabletop gaming ranges the Warhammer team has ever put out. But I could give a damn about that game system, I'm sorry to say.
I mean, I understand.
But I have nothing to contribute to this topic. I have zero input, thought process. We could get our friend who's big Lord of the Rings nerd on one day. Maybe we'll talk about it then. But I know nothing about it. I do know they got a new edition at the tail end of last year, new box set. That's great. Happy for you. I'm really, really happy genuinely to see the game still is around and it's getting support, but we're not going to talk about it.
Okay, cool. I'm kind of glad, because I would have also been in a world of unsure.
Yeah. But I do have, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate game systems, and yet I somehow still forgot Blood Bowl.
Again, I feel like Blood Bowl is definitely in that similar branch of, I don't know anything about what they would have done this last year, but I have seen a few models pop up on Insta and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love seeing the silly, goofy little sculpts they come out with, and their rules supplement books looking like actual sport magazines is fantastic. Very fun.
Oh, yeah. But give me a 40k version.
Oh, 40k is just soccer?
Imagine Necromunda meets Blood Bowl.
Shall we start with Necromunda?
Oh man, alright. Why not? Let's segue.
So, what do you think in general about Necromunda, Jonny?
I find the idea of it very interesting from a distance. I haven't invested the time into learning because, frankly, it looks like a serious learning curve. But the models, oh man, boyo, do they have some cool models.
Right? Holy moly.
And if you're playing, like, Chaos Space Marines, heaven forbid I say it, you have so many options for cultists, you just have to decide how you want them to look. Because Necromunda gangs make good cultists.
Chaos and impoverished people have a few things in common, do they?
I mean, it turns out, right? When it comes to the human race, there's plenty of culty shenanigans around. Lorgar's sons have done their work.
Lorgar won! But to talk about what Necromunda got. So, previously, before 2024, they came out with the Ash Waste expansion that brought what was commonly an indoors skirmish, city close quarter fight thing outdoors. They took it outdoors. They introduced a couple of vehicles. They introduced a couple of desert faring factions. And they did add a couple of little things to buff up that sort of sub part of the game. But what they did introduce that was really cool was a dungeon delver-like extension of the system. Necromunda, as you point out, is very crunchy. It's closer to an RPG than it is a tabletop war game. It's an RPG cosplaying as a skirmish game. And they added this dungeon delver game mode. I don't know if they call it Hive Secundus, but that is the box set that came out. Basically, an excursion gang delves into a ruined hive for the sake of loot. They came out with the Vansar Tech Hunters that is extending upon an already existing faction, but they brought back the Spryer Hunters, which are nobles that surgically implant themselves into combat suits and go on a killing spree for funsies.
Sick dudes.
And they brought in something that you really liked. What do you think, Jonny, about the Malstrain?
The Malstrain were a really interesting looking kit. They were one of the first times I've seen Tyranid-inspired models and been like, I could get on that. But unfortunately, I just don't know enough about what it is, and I probably still wouldn't play with them if I was going to start Necromunda. I just think they were some very, very, very nice models.
They sure were. So we got the techie Vansar, we got the combat suit Spryer Hunters, plus they came out with like an epic character for them, Lady Hera. The Malstrain Gene Stealers, this radiation mutated Gene Stealer strain separated from the hive mind. We got them, we got Malstrain Alpha. The Coalescence looks like nightmare fuel.
Sure does.
The real freaky, once an AdMech, now part of the Malstrain hive mind. The Magos Biologist Hermiatus. Oh, I love that guy.
What a kit. What a beautiful looking dude.
He made my top 10.
Oh, I bet.
Love me Hermiatus. But that's all that really came out for Necromunda. What do you think? Good release?
I honestly think it was. Like, obviously Necromunda is a very small, skirmishy sort of game. There's not a huge market for it, so obviously it didn't get the same release that Age of Sigmar or 40k will get, which we will go into. But the few models they did get are some of the nicer models that GW released this year. And scrolling through, like, looking at the models for Necromunda, overall, full of very nice, detailed, fun-looking models. There's not really a lot of misses in amongst all of Necromunda.
I did a little bit of research into how Necromunda does so well. Like, we got Necromunda and even like a couple of the other systems we'll talk about are considered specialist games. They are not your main franchise that Warhammer will focus on. So what Games Workshop will do is they'll actually find like their hottest talent in the model making realm, in the rules realm, and they will actually like put them over onto these games like Necromunda, because the game itself is kind of too small to actually fail, but they're not going to support the game if no one wants to actually like buy the stuff. And so they're going to just have a couple of their hottest talent making stuff that everyone like kind of looks at. They're like, damn, what's that? I'm interested. Oh, wait, it's in resin? No, never mind.
It definitely feels like Necromunda is a place where they advertise super heavily, but unsuccessfully, if that makes sense. Like, they release some very cool stuff and they advertise the game very well, but there's just not enough people playing it to actually like make it succeed. And most people who are buying the models are buying them as something else.
Yeah, but it's always good to see what they come up with. The Warhammer community website, which is their big announcement, channel. I think they have, what's it, Necromunda Mondays or Necromondays, something like that. And every week or two, they're like, oh, by the way, here's a weird mechanical worm. Here's a rogue doctor. Here is a random beast farmer from the Ash Waste. And the thing that always spins me out, Johnny, is that they've already made the rules. Like, in all of their various books, like, it's a bit of a book-bloated system. There's so many little codexes, if you will, and little rule supplements. But within all of them are just treasure troves of like, here is like a rule for this type of character if you want to like create your own. And then like a year or two later, they're like, here's our official take on that. You can get it like in 2 months' time when we do a release window of all that we've announced. And I love that.
Yeah, for sure. It's very well put together, the whole system, but just a bloated mess at this point.
But since we are talking about this in the start of March, we're obviously a bit into the year, and we can also have a brief look at what's coming. At the Las Vegas Opens a few weeks back, they announced that they're going to give proper support to my favorite of the Necromunda gangs, the Ash Waste Nomads. They will get their own little rulebook codex thing, and a couple of other kits to go with them, like a weapon upgrade kit, another elite mob, if you will. That's fun.
But also, I agree, Ash Waste Nomads do look like one of the better looking gangs.
So, you and I will just go in different directions with our Ash Waste Nomads then, huh?
Josh, we tried that with Necrons. I can't
We did.
I can't go back to those days. I will pick another gang, it's okay.
You had your eye on something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe I was looking into Goliath gang originally.
Goliath gang, that's right, yeah. Cool.
How do I always end up in the fight phase?
I don't know. I don't particularly love the fight phase in games. I like to stay back, even in Monster Hunter.
Right.
But that's Necromunda. There's not too much else to talk about with Necromunda.
That's fine. Let's move on to another specialist game, shall we?
Do you want to pick a game, or shall we leave it up to chance? What do you want to do?
Well, let's take a brief moment to discuss Underworld, because that's the skirmish game I'm the most interested in at this point in time.
Go for it.
Underworld received a new release, a new edition, and honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. You've got a miniature game meets card builder, like deck builder. You've got some really cool looking models. It is a skirmish game, so you only need like 4 to 6 dudes, or like one box essentially. With the new edition, they released a whole bunch of the old skirmish groups, specifically in like 4-pack kits for a decent-ish price. So you could have 4 different styled teams that you can go into this skirmish game with, that comes with all their cards and all of that. And then realistically, all you need is the starter kit to get, if you want all the tokens and the board and stuff, and you go. It's a hex grid-based map, which I think is super interesting. It uses the Age of Sigmar range and is fantasy based, so it has some very nice sculpts straight out of fantasy. And honestly, like, I don't know enough about it yet, but I'm so excited to have a look at where it goes in the future. For the most part, there's not a lot of new releases other than their new edition, but it just looks like so much fun.
I'm a big fan of games where you don't need a lot to actually play it.
Yeah, skirmish games are great, and I would love to get more into a couple of them. At the moment, we're pretty hard-pilled onto 40k, though, with our current group.
We need that good ROI, don't we?
Just need to break it up every now and then.
Underworlds, yeah, we got the second edition, and you definitely sold the whole concept of Underworlds. One thing I will add to it that I think will interest newcomers to Underworlds. The first edition of Underworlds was definitely an experiment. You know, they would release, much like they do with a lot of other games, like every 2 or 3 months, a couple of more things for it, but they would package them in like a proper box with the rule book, with a little board. And that would turn people away because they've got their warband, they got their stormcast, or they've got their orc, you know, they got something already. Why do they need to fork out like 200 plus buckos to get a couple of more warbands and a board and cards when maybe all they wanted was like one of the warbands, you know?
Yeah.
But what they're going to do, they've said that with this new start box Ember Guard, this is the only board set they're going to like push for the edition. Everything else is going to be the small packs, like the 50, 60 bucks, same cost as a 40k character, of just like, there's your little team, here's a few cards to go with them, go nuts. And that's good consumerism.
It sure is, and it makes me really want to pick up that starter set because I can see what they're trying to do. And if I could just get one more person other than you and I invested in this, I would probably pull the trigger and we would do skirmish games once a month or something, you know? Break it up a little bit.
Skirmish Sunday. Did you see me in the Warhammer store the other day, like holding the Underworlds Lizard Men,
the Jaws of
new
Itz.
box? Yeah, the Jaws of Itzel for like 5 minutes. Like, I could, but will we play it? I don't know.
Oh man, I'm so close to pulling the trigger on the Chaos Warbands.
They look sick.
Just to have 4 teams straight away.
It's I love skirmish games from a hobbying perspective, for the fact that when you buy a unit for 40k or Sigmar, they all look very similar. Like there's 5 guys with swords or 5 guys with assault rifle, you know? Whereas in the skirmish, every model looks unique. It's a different person. That one is like the heavily armored brute. That one's the commander on a tactical rock. That one's got a bow. You know, it's all unique. I love. Anyway,
that's Underworld in a nutshell. Not a lot came out, but
that's okay.
Shall we run through any more of the small games before we move on to the big 2?
I think we should get the weird one for us out of the way.
All right.
Which one's the weird one?
Let's talk about Old World.
We're in agreement. But, man, Old World went nuts.
They are really trying to push their dead game back into the light.
Tell me about Old World, Johnny, from your perspective.
Why bother? That's my perspective. Age of Sigmar models look better. The game functions better. Instead, they're pulling their old sprues out of storage and recasting them and releasing square skeletons and then giving them a couple of new, very nice-looking fancy models that look way out of place next to these 80s models that they had. I just feel like the whole system is a nostalgia grab, and unfortunately is working because there's so many people who used to play fantasy that don't like Sigmar, and therefore want to use their old models again that are just gathering dust on the shelves. Hot take.
I don't think it's a very hot take for a modern era enthusiast of the hobby. I don't think that's a very hot take at all. But I do understand the take. And I have similar sentiments. I have definitely seen a few stereotypes thrown out that, 40K is like your youngsters game, a bit more competitive tournament, young people. Whereas Sigmar's more like your dad game, beer and pretzels, have a bit of fun.
It definitely feels like that. It's the casual gamers, right?
Yeah, Horus Heresy is like your more hobbyist game who's not really there to actually like worry about the rules per se.
They just want to have
there's
fun.
no meta chasing. Old World is like your weird uncle who like got into it like in their 20s and is now like in their 50s. He's like, heck yeah, I can bring out my metal dwarves again.
Yep. That's kind of the vibe. In terms of releases this year,
I got him.
Good, because I don't have the list currently because, frankly, I don't care.
Well, you definitely were onto it, though. They brought a lot of things out of storage. They have this stuff. They don't need to do much. They just got to put them back in a box and stock them.
Yep.
Weirdly, though, there's a lot of materials in these ranges. Some are plastic, some are resin, some are metal, some are, I think, something else.
Wait, are they still releasing metal sculpts for Old World?
Some of their made-to-order things, I'm pretty sure, have been metal.
Oh man, is it still the old pewter?
I think so.
Oh, that's so bad.
I
Games
could be wrong.
Workshop, give us plastic.
I could be wrong, but my tendency to pick up a Warhammer community browser tab is like every day's a Sunday mass for me. I'm just like, what's new?
I feel like that. It's the first thing I do every morning is I go onto Instagram and I find out what they've released, what they've announced, what they're spoiling.
You go to bed much earlier than I do, whereas for us, I think their articles drop around 10 p.m. our time, so I can see it before I go to sleep.
Mate, that's bedtime.
Yeah. Not for me. But I'll see it, and then I might like go down the like community rabbit hole, like, hey guys, what do we think?
Oh, I don't talk to the community. They're a little toxic, frankly.
Every fandom's toxic, unfortunately. But Old World, when their Old World game came back, I can't say it came out, when it came back, they did all these new rule books. They've got like the basic rule book, then they've got like kind of the Liber good guys and Liber bad guys, the compendium of armies.
Yep.
And then you could start playing whatever army you had right away. And then as they actually bring like new packaging of their old stuff out in waves, then they release like a small paperback war journal, which is like all your supplementive stuff to make it actually feel like you got an army release. That's nice. But we have had Tomb Kings with their colossi, chariots, royal characters, cavalry, archers, lich priests, bone dragons, necrosphinx, weird one, and Tomb Guard. We then had Bretonia to come out with the Tomb Kings with their green knights, their pegasi, questing knights, grail knights, noble ladies. Don't know about her coming onto the battlefield, but anyway. Then they had like the dwarven holds with their kings and their slayers, their artillery and their gyrocopters, something called the Urnful of Doom. Their engineers, their high command, hammerers. What else do we get? We got the orcs and goblins, shamans, night goblins, wolf riders, boar riders, black orcs, war bosses, giants, generic goblins, including snotlings, plus ogres. Oh my lord. Empire of Man came back with their lords, their squires, their peasants, their men-at-arms, knights of the realm, but most recently, Jonny, we got Chaos! The OG inspired everything. You look at these old range showing the Marauders, the Night Warriors, Lords, Beasts of Chaos. They had dragons, Chaos Ogres, Skin Wolves, Manticores, and you can see that Sigmar didn't stray too far from them, actually.
Oh, for sure.
But they did 6 full range re-releases, and High Elves is already coming out this year pretty soon.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying they're not going hard, but they didn't put any work in.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
But I mean, when you look at Games Workshop's different systems and releases and everything. Like, they have 5 major systems at play, most with skirmish games and board games and all these other things going on. Like, there's so much that Games Workshop are releasing every single week that I guess the old world kind of fills a gap without them having to invest overly too much time and resources into doing, right? You don't need much of a model design team because you've already got the models. You just need a couple of new centerpieces, and then it's mainly just packaging and marketing, right?
It's a very smart choice from a business because you're not losing much to make this, and you're making, your diehard OG fans beyond happy.
And there would be a lot of people who were diehard OG fans in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s playing fantasy who probably fell off when the game died. Because it did. The game was discontinued.
Sold terribly.
Very popular at the start, but very much weaned off towards the end, which is why they did Age of Sigmar as a huge fantasy refresh. But for all those really old nostalgic players, they've found a reason to come back, right? And that's a positive thing for Games Workshop because that's an audience they had lost that they're now potentially getting back. And let's be real, people like that, with that nostalgia, with most likely being a middle-aged person who has a decent income and therefore can support this hobby all of a sudden, whereas they probably couldn't when they were younger, they're not too worried about not playing games. They just happy to have their models and buy and collect and build an army and then realize nobody actually plays it. And then they go back to Horus Heresy.
I'm not as anti-old world in terms of, like, would I collect some of them? Maybe.
Nah.
I won't, but, like, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
But what opposes me is the cost.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I would do Tomb Kings for that, mirror of the Necrons. I think it's a great idea, the whole skeleton lich priest thing. That's fun to me.
It is fun.
But I see the, like, intro box that comes with the big hardcover rulebook, the Tomb Kings Arcane Journal or whatever it's called, and a boatload of stuff, but it's 500 Australian dollars.
And it's all sculpts from the 90s. The skeletons look terrible.
The skeletons do look terrible. Oh my god, did you see the funniest model I've seen in a long time? Look up the Tomb King's skeleton horse thing.
The Tomb King's skeleton horse thing? The chariot? Or
No,
just
not
dude
the chariot,
on horse?
Just dude on horse. What's it called? Skeleton horsemen / horse archers. And look at the legs of the horse.
What? Are they made of sprues? Is that just made of a sprue? I could kit bash something that looks better than that. What is that horse? Oh man, I know it was the 90s, but come on guys. This is my problem. Like, you see that and then you look at the giant dude on a brand new undead bone dragon who just looks absolutely sick. Like, they chuck in these brand new, like, 2024 sculpted models with all of the latest tech, and they put them at the head of that horse. And it's just so immersion breaking.
I think we should move on before we get done aggravated assault.
The tiny... Hold on. One more. Okay. The tiny little cat on the seat of the dude on the giant dragon has more detail than the horse. Just wanted to point that out there. All right. Yeah. That is old world.
I'm glad we got that out of our system now.
Hot takes. Nah, jokes. Not really. It's not really a hot take.
No. But yeah, the High Elves will come out soon. That's all.
Round up fantasy by talking Age of Sigmar?
Why not? We're just going to edge our 40k audience.
That's it. Hey, we'd have to keep them listening for longer, alright? Don't skip ahead.
Age of Sigmar. What happened last year of Age of Sigmar, Johnny?
They also got a new edition. It was a year for it, right?
Fantasy stocks.
Age of Sigmar released their 4th edition?
Correct.
I know my numbers. I know what comes after 3.
5.
Right? And it went down very, very well in the community. Even
Sure
I
did.
have heard nothing but positive things about Age of Sigmar. Did you know you get to roll your charge roll before you decide where you're going?
Yep. Did you know that most things don't have an invulnerable save?
And that most people don't have a reaction to screw with you?
And games are actually relatively quick.
Yeah. No, the honestly, like, Age of Sigmar looks great right now. If I didn't have so much 40k models and people who only play 40k, I might just jump ship.
Well, you already picked out your force.
Oh, I'm ready. Next army
was,
isn't 40k, right?
Stormcast Eternals, right? You're pretty
I would
into it?
rather die. They are cool
Come
models,
on.
and I like the wings, but that's about all I can say for Stormcast Eternals. They're just Space Marines.
The Dark Oath Barbarians, right? Am I getting close?
You're getting closer. We're in the right faction. We are in chaos because I am chaos pilled.
You sure are.
Change is coming, my friend.
Oh, okay, I see. You've been leading me towards your disciples of Zinch all along.
I have been hard pilled into Zinchian shenanigans off the back of one model. Let's be real. And thank you, Underworld.
Nephilim?
The Underworld kill team for Disciples of Zinch looks incredible.
Is that the Nephilim guy?
That is the Nephilim guy.
Cool.
I think this is how I decide what I play. It's off the back of one model. I chose Chaos Space Marines as a faction based on a cultist.
Wow.
Because it all started when I was deciding what to play in Kill Team. I was scrolling through Kill Team looking for anything I thought would look cool, and I settled on the old Kill Team cultist box, which had the firebrand in it. And I was like, that is a sick model. What Kill Team do I get to play that model in? It was Compendium Chaos Space Marines.
For a little bit.
It no longer exists, but that was where it started. That was the Kill Team that had that dude in it. And then from there, I bought a box of Chosen, and I made my Kill Team Compendium Chaos Space Marines, and descended into Chaos from there.
You were pulled in as if Slanesh was beckoning you sit on their lap.
Nah, I'm not Slanesh pilled. For someone who doesn't like change, I sure like the change.
And yet you've gone excessively into chaos, and you're not a Slanesh person.
Warband for Disciples of Zinch just has so much cool detail in it. The Ephilim dude with the big staff and the giant swirly staff and no eyes on his head. They're on his hand instead.
Oh, it's Ephilim without the N?
Yeah, it's Ephilim. And then you get like 4 demons that show more of the like horror change sort of vibe than anything in 40k or Age of Sigmar outside of it. Those demons look wicky wacky.
Want to hear something funny?
What?
When they announced Ephilim's Pandemonium for Warhammer Underworlds a couple of years ago, it was the same announcement show where they announced 40k 10th. The Lion came back with Arcs of Omen.
Oh.
It was like that era.
Yeah, they got pushed under by some big releases.
I mean, as we pointed out, there's a lot of audiences for this company to pander to. I saw this kit and I was like, man, that fellow in the middle is sick. And I almost got it myself. This was before your real like descent into the Zinchian ways.
Yep. No, he is absolutely cool. Sorry, we ended up back in the wrong spot. Let's go back to where we were meant to be, which was Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, my smooth lizard brain can't handle staying on course.
That's it. Age of Sigmar had quite a few releases in this year.
Yeah, I can tell you all about them if you want.
Let's jump in.
So, Scaventide was the big 4th edition launch box. Scaventide brought the threat of the Skaven back. And that was in the middle of the year. Before the middle of the year was the first half of the year. Did you know? And they finished the end of their 3rd edition campaign. 40k does that kind of thing all the time. End of edition campaign. Had a couple of spicy new kits that have been cooking.
Mm-hmm.
The campaign was called Dawnbringers. Every single release of Dawnbringers had a big centerpiece model, and every one of them slapped.
Oh,
Not
man.
every one that I'm going to talk about came out in 2024, but it would have been the end of 2023 at like the earliest.
Yeah.
We had, I don't know the actual order, but we had Trug, the Troggoth King for the Gloomspite Night Goblin Gits. We had Belthanos, the first Thorn of Kurnoth for the Sylvaneth. We had Ionis Cryptborn, the Warden of Lost Souls for the Stormcast. And, oh my god, Chaplain on Dragon.
Yep.
We had Krethuzar, the Crone Seer for the Daughters of Cain, who looks like gothic Saint Celestine. Come at me.
Nice.
We had Sakar, the Fang of Nulamia, a undead snake lady for the Soulblight Grave Lords.
Yep.
We had, what's his name? Usharan, the Mortarch of Delusion for the Flesh Eater Courts.
One of the all-time best models that they've ever released.
Oh, man. That guy, much like you with Ephelim's Pandemonium, that guy almost made me pick up like the Christmas box set of Flesh Eater Courts. I'm like, they're my army because of Usharan.
Because that dude is sick.
I looked at the rest of the models. I'm like, actually, you know what?
Nah.
Not super into it. Just that guy. They also had your favorite model, Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen.
Oh, this woman.
Do you want me to tell you about Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen's background?
For all of our listeners who weren't at the release panel for Abraxia, sure, because I've heard it 5 times.
I won't actually. It's an inside joke. Basically, the first ever press conference thing that Jonny and I specifically made time to watch live, like a year or 2 ago, announced this chick. Her model's great. She's this very fearsome looking slave to darkness warrior on big dragon mount. Very cool. But I feel like we got told about her backstory like 4 or 5 times in 1 hour.
Yeah.
But she looks sick. They ended 3rd edition with Usharan bringing in a new Flesh Eater Courts range. We had Crypt Guard, Morbeg Knights, Grand Justice Gormain, the Abhorrent Cardinal and Gore Warden. The Flesh Eater Courts, if you don't know, listeners, is the ghouls version of Undeath. Undeath in Age of Sigmar has a few different themes. Flesh Eater Courts are ghouls. They're not really zombies, but they're ghouls. And they're ghouls that have a mental illness where they don't realize they are ghouls. They think they're still the nobility of old, but they're also eating guts and stuff.
Yeah, it's a really interesting premise for an army, and I kind of love some of the details they do with it. Like Grand Justice Gormain.
See the guy with intestine hair?
He is the dude with intestine hair. Just like the old judge sort of like big white hair, but it's just intestines. You know, like they have all these super fun little details in amongst it, but unfortunately the ghouls themselves are just, I mean, ugly is the right word, but in the
They're
wrong...
ugly in a way you want.
Yeah, for sure. And I can see why people would lean towards them. But yeah, no, it's absolutely feral.
And make everyone repulsed.
Yeah. An army of them on the table would just be disgusting to look at in all of the right ways.
But that's not all that we got for Sigmar. Of course, we now get to the actual Skaven Tide, where they pitted, of course, Stormcast Eternals against Skaven. This would be my favorite of the Stormcast ranges, if I'm being honest. It's the 4th edition, so they're into like the 4th version of Stormcast. If you don't know what Stormcasts are, listeners, they are essentially warriors and other brave souls that fell in an actual conflict. But Sigmar, who is essentially God in this setting, looked at them in death and thought, "You're not quite done. The world or the realms, they need you still." And so he plucks their soul, brings them to his heavenly realm, turns them into this sort of angelic knight, and then deploys them onto battlefields in bolts of lightning. But if they die in battle, they get reforged. But every time they get reforged, a bit of their sort of mind like seeps away. Like they become a bit more and more like mindless people, just instruments of war. And the 4th edition focuses on that. They call them the Ruination Chamber. You have all these very dour, grim knights that are super adorned, but you'll notice they have all of these little like human servants that are walking around with like books and incense, and even a couple of their characters like Iridan, the Witness, who is this big executioner on huge griffin-like mount. These people are there to kind of be like, hey, wake up, come back. We need you still. Don't fall into the abyss.
Oh yeah, no, these are some of the coolest models that Stormcast have. I'm especially fond of the Prosecutor's wings.
Yeah.
And I think it would make for some sick kit bashes for your Zephyrum.
I have seen someone do Taunus the Redeemed mixed with Saint Celestine of the 40k Sisters of Battle, and
real pretty.
with like the big downward wings rather than the up and lithe wing. It looks really sick. But they had to go up against Skaven, Johnny. Rats. Do you like rats?
Of all the Chaos factions, they are the bottom of my barrel. Don't get me wrong, their models look very nice, and I think they have some very interesting sculpts. They look so goofy to me.
That's part of their charm for a lot of people, though.
But like, you get these weird, like, rattling Gatling guns that are absolutely sick, or dudes in random circular one-wheel motorbikes chilling and driving around like nutcases.
I love that guy.
I think the brutes and like the big rats are super cool, like the ogres, but clan rats are just abysmal to look at, and they look like they would be a terror to paint.
You may as well run them as chaos cultists.
Joke's on you, I am.
There's a creator who does post a lot of kit bashes. I can't remember their handle on social media, but they do a lot of kit bashes, specifically Necromunda models, but they turn everything into a Necromunda model. And I'm just waiting to see what they do with Skaven.
I mean, 40k rats confirmed, right? No, jokes.
The thing about the Skaven is that they're one of the OG factions. They've been around the block since before we were alive, I'm pretty sure. Naturally, when you have a faction like that, you have lore, you have stuff, you have so many bits and bobs to the army, much like 40k Orcs has so many flavors of them. With the Skaven, they had so many things released, but they all sort of pad out the various aesthetics of Skaven, and that's chef's kiss to me. We had Clan Verminus, which is your more militant, I was going to say orcs, your more militant rats with your clan rats, Storm Vermin, led by the guy Kritok Foulblade. Then you've got, a bunch of sort of generic-ish / clans Pestilens, which are, your poisoning kind of group. A lot of the skirmish games lean into the Pestilens aspect with the Plague Pack.
Yep.
Couple of the other unique sculpts, like their big boy Vizix Scour, Prophet of the Horned Rat.
Man, sick model.
Oh yeah. But besides that, you got clans Molder, who are your flesh sculptors. You got the Master Molder, the Brood Terror, the Rat Ogres, and you also got clans Scryer, which are your artifice rats with all the guns and the wheels.
Yep. Yeah.
So many things. Hard to not be excited by that.
Oh, if you're a Skaven player, it was literal Christmas. You got everything. So many new models, a new codex, new everything. You're the bad guy for this part of the edition. Like, hot damn.
Hot damn. But it's not all that came out last year. We ended the year with the third faction to receive their book support, which is the Slaves to Darkness, the Chaos Mirror. But they brought in a new sub-faction, the Dark Oath Barbarians. I'm not about it.
I'm also not about it. Like, if I wanted to collect that specific army, I would want to focus more on the Chaos Warriors. I think the Chaos Warriors have some really cool sculpts. Although the new Warhammer Day Sorcerer they released,
that is cool.
I want one so bad.
Yeah.
Because he would become a warrior.
Yeah, I do like the Welder Fiend, I will admit. I do like the Wendigo looking model. That one's sick.
But no, for sure, like, Slaves of Darkness did some really cool things, but they focused too much on the barbarians for me to personally want to get invested, but I could definitely see where people find the enjoyment. At this point, they also released the new Christmas Battle Forces, which I feel were okay. I didn't hear a lot about them, to be honest, because it was Cities of Sigmar, Flesh Eater Courts, which you were saying you were fairly interested in at one point, the Iron Jaws Wrecker Mob, and the Maggotkin of Nurgle, which is actually a really cool looking box with all the big flyy bugs and the dude on horse that everyone loved when he came out.
Yeah, he's very cool. I like that. The guy on horse a lot. I don't want to use him. I just want to stand him in the back of the army looking at the battlefield menacingly.
Man, I just want to put him on a shelf, right? Like, he's such a good diorama style mini.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much it for Age of Sigmar last year.
Big Sigmar year.
Big Sigmar year, but a big focus on Warcry, and which we didn't even touch on, and Underworlds towards the end.
Yeah. We're gonna touch upon Warcry next, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good time to do that.
I will say what we can look forward to with Sigmar. They've been hitting the ground running, much like 40k, which we will get to. Calm down. Keep listening. Far out. But, man, I lost my train of thought. Whoops. No, I'm back. They are kind of going gung-ho, like a new sort of army support every month or two. They did really well when the game came out. Lots of PDFs to support all the factions, but now they're getting the books and a couple of models to go with them. We've already had the Auric War Clans. We talked about it a bit in one of our earlier hype episodes. You can go back and listen to that. But they also are now actually just going into the Gloomspite Gits, but they're doing a new sub-faction, the Sun Mob. The Gits that vibes with sunlight rather than gloomy dankness. They like riding wolves. They like putting constructs together. Not bad. But that's all I can really think of that we're actually getting for Sigmar soon that they've really talked about. I have a segue for Warcry.
Okay.
Do you know where the Dark Oath came from?
I mean, they come from the Chaos Lands, right?
Yeah, Warcry.
Yeah.
The first edition of Warcry wasn't as all-faction-y as it is now in its second edition. The first edition of Warcry was focused on a part of the Sigmar realmscape called the 8 Points, which is sort of the nexus of energy between everythings. And if you look at all the original Warcry stuff, it's all Chaos Warbands. You've got I think they're the Unredeemed, the Corvus Cabal, Jade Obelisk, all these kind of Chaos adjacent warbands. And they're fighting for control. They want the Chaos Gods to check them out and say, I choose you, Pikachu. And that was Dark Oath. They won.
Interesting. And now they get their full army release.
Exactly. They won. And now they got an army. But Warcry...
It's a good way to do it, right? Like, find out what people want, let them invest in something, and then reward them for actually having a say. I dig it.
Yeah, Warcry, quiet year. Nothing really to actually talk about.
Yeah.
They had three release sets.
They're coming towards the end of their cycle, I believe, aren't they? They should be getting a new edition fairly soon. Probably next year.
Hot take. Don't need to keep updating your games.
Yeah, you can update the rules without updating the game system.
Right. But yeah, Warcry, they had, I think, 3 release waves. They had the Wilder Core Hunter, which is Cities of Sigmar, versus the Gorgar Moorpack, which is more tribes. I think more tribes really needed that kit to pad out their range. Warcry and Underworlds have direct support in Age of Sigmar to run the units, which is great. Then we had the Pyre Geist of the Nighthaunt versing the, oh my god, Wydrylan, something like that. Riverblades for the Lumineth Realm Lords. That was my least favorite. They looked quite bland. And then my actual favorite was the Twist Wield of the Sylvaneth, a bit of a corrupted aspect of nature versus the Tyrannic cohort of the Usiarch Bone Reapers.
Sick stuff.
That's it. That's all to say about Warcry. It exists. It's kill team for Sigmar.
Sure is.
What do you think of the models we did get? That's still like nearly 50-ish models.
I think they did well. The models are cool. The terrain pieces were very nice, but it is what it is. Like, I feel like Warcry is both doing well, but also it just kind of exists. I don't think it's doing quite as well as Kill Team in terms of the numbers, but it manages to put out models for armies outside of their release wave, which is a very positive thing for the game as a whole. And it's something that they do with Kill Team a lot as well. So it has a home in the release schedule as well as being its own standalone game. And skirmish games are cool. They're quick, they're fun, you don't need a lot to get started. It's a good place to start an army, in my opinion.
I do have an episode idea in the future for like Kill Team, like, oh look, you bought a Kill Team, what's your army gonna be for 40k? How to go next? What next? What buy?
What buy?
I think we're pretty done with our fantasy range. We have three things left to talk about.
It's alright, guys, we got there at last.
Horus Heresy.
We're in the grim darkness of the 30k millennium, whatever it is. HH.
HH. I love HH.
Which,
suck
honestly,
it, nerds. 40k's last.
Honestly, pretty fire releases. HH continues to put out models that I'm like super tempted by.
Yeah, it's a bit dangerous.
We got the Basilisk and the Medusa being solo auxiliary tanks. We got a solo auxiliary range with
hell yeah,
weird dude on Light Sentinel.
So dopey.
We got their infantry units in the Veltara Storm and Las Rifle sections. We got the Malkador Heavy Tank, which is also a sick-looking tank. Hot damn, dude.
So long.
Right?
I love it.
We got the Heavy Sentinel, which is a beast of a model. Like, it's just so bricky, and it just looks so derpy, but it's just covered in missiles. We got the Dracasan, the Lehman Russ tank for Horus Heresy, which I believe they are almost the same dimensions. I think they're slightly different dimensions to 40k, but let's be real, who cares about a millimeter or two here or there, right?
Most audiences are cash players.
That's it. We got the Battle for Beta Garmin campaign release.
Yeah. And the Martian Civil War. We got some unique characters in the form of some. We got a lot. It's pretty ridiculous just how much they pushed out. We got a lot of character releases, some highlights being like the Siegebreaker console with his big hammer and his little tech suit. We got Endrid Ha with a sick battle damaged armor set that I think the model just looks sick for a Space Marine. I like character, alright? The Dark Emissary is real nice for Sons of Horus. We got the Thousand Sons Librarian, which I'm very close to just picking up as sorcerers. Hell no, Johnny, it's gonna happen.
No, just for Thousand Sons, you know? Like,
you're walking a dangerous path, man.
Well, I already want the 30k version of Ahriman over the 40k version. I think it looks very nice, and I think sitting on top of a disc of Tzeentch, he would look real fancy.
Hell yeah.
And in a world where Ahriman is in every Thousand Sons list and is therefore permanently out of stock, the 30k version actually looks almost as good. I wouldn't say it's as good because Ahriman has a very good sculpt in 40k.
It's hard to tell that it's Ahriman in 30k compared to 40k.
It sure does, but it's meant to be, before the fall, so they're a little more simple.
H.H. Araman is displaying as out of stock for me too.
I had one in my cart.
Wait a minute. No, that's British pound. It might be available in Australia. It is available in Australia.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
But yeah, no, Horus Heresy had some pretty cool releases.
Are you kidding me, Johnny?
No, go on. I just wanted to mess around.
Mechanicum.
There it is.
Far out. I was about to disconnect.
I wanted to mess with you a little bit. Tell us about Mechanicum and how excited you are.
Oh, man, look. All right. I'm pretty milquetoast on 40k Mechanicum. Not super into the whole cybernetica, androidy kind of vibe. I mean, it's fine, but it's a little too Da Vinci steampunk for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Mechanicum, Horus Heresy, and I know there's like Mechanicum, Mechanicus, I don't care. The models in Horus Heresy to represent beep boop dudes look fantastic. They do have the tech thralls, they do have this sort of cybernetica people, but there's so many robots. There's so many tank. It's fantastic. Man. I don't have much else. There's nothing really to say. Like, look at them. Go look.
That Mechanicum heavy support force that's on pre-order at the moment.
I'm like,
cool. That is 3 very nice models. Man, what is it? The Triaros or whatever it is?
The Triaros is
the big bearded tank.
Yeah, the Triaros is the armored, like, Mechanicum Land Raider thing.
It's so cool.
The Karachnos is the artillery variant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous that this thing exists, because I like the robot that's in the heavy support box set.
The Thanatar?
But it's my least favorite of the 3, and I like it. So it's very dangerous.
Oh, man. You just have to learn all of the rules for Horus Heresy, right?
Alright, I'm gonna be real for a sec. Alright, so I downloaded the PDF version. Don't ask where I got it, but I got it. Of the Horus Heresy Liber Mechanicum, or whatever it's called. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. I looked at the data sheets, I looked at the rules, and I was like, okay, see you next time, and closed the PDF. I'm like, that's too many words.
I have looked at some of the data sheets for units, and I was like, what does any of this mean?
Mumble jumble. The new Martian Civil War supplement adds a bunch of fluffy stuff to to Horus Heresy that really allows you to make just the most anarchic Mechanicum thing. You can give like super duper powers that is like, this is the gravitic reversed engineered light of the eternal servitor god machine. That might be a real thing, I don't know. But it's like that level of convoluted, and there's like 30 of them. And you just like pick and choose, that guy get that guy get this.
Yeah. But also, Mechanicum get access to your favorite knight, because he's one of the Mechanicum knights.
Atropos.
And the other one as well.
Moira.
Porphyrion.
Oh, I do like Porphyrion.
Big boy Porphyrion.
Doing farmer's carries at the gym.
But yes, you also get access to the Megara and the Styx Knight with the round tops instead of the square tops. You also get access to the Archmagos, who is a sick character series model.
Mm-hmm. 2 things.
Yes.
1 thing. A good mate of ours, you know him, reminds me a lot about you.
In name?
Yeah. He asks me one night, how does Horus Heresy have so much stuff? Like, it just doesn't stop. Much like Necromunda Mondays, we get like Horus Heresy Thursdays, and they're like, this week we're gonna like give you a White Scar Stormseer. Next week, oh look at that, Space Wolf Rune Priest. What next week? Iron Warrior Warsmith. You're welcome. Boom. And it's like, why? How? How do they do this much stuff? And the answer is, fans and listeners and friends, that like Horus Heresy, unbeknownst to most, existed as a game system for a while. When Forge World was a thing, in like 2011, Games Workshop was like, yeah, go on then, make Horus Heresy, have fun. And they knocked it out the park. For like 11-ish years, they had their own game, their own rulebooks, their own release window. They could just focus exclusively on one game. And they did all these upgrade sprues, all these characters, all these units, but they're all like crap resin. And now that they've been melded in, much like the old world, they need like release pampering windows, you know? They need to be like, we got no Sigmar, we got no 40k, what have you got, Horus Heresy? And they're like, literally dozens of things. Take your pick, print it in plastic, there you go. And that's exactly what's happening. Most of these new models aren't new, they're just now in plastic.
And that's it. And honestly, it's a good thing. The plastic that Games Workshop uses is by far and above their resin.
Yeah.
The resin kits are overpriced, require so much cleanup on your end. Like, you get a product and then you have to clean it up. You have to wash it. You have to clean up all of the terrible mold lines and errors that they have. There's so many examples of people who have got resin kits and there's bits that have either just failed to print or are missing or are damaged just because of transport, or the mold didn't, like, it didn't print right and then they didn't pick up on it. Like, there's so many. And while Games Workshop are very good at fixing these errors, their plastic kits are just so reliable. It's so rare that you find out about an issue with a plastic kit, but there are a few, and they don't fix them in the print.
Usually it's just the wrong kit.
Usually it's like, oops, that number's not right, my instructions don't line up, or something like that.
Hey, I ordered a tank, but I got the Necron Tesseract Vault instead.
Oh, here, have the tank, keep the vault. They're pretty good for that sort of stuff. But Horus Heresy has some sick models, and I think as a 40k person, use and abuse. Like, there's so much cool stuff that you can chuck in, like Warsmiths in exchange for Warpsmiths. You've got lieutenants coming out your rectum for Space Marines, like, I'm using Mechanicum tech thralls as cultists.
Sure are.
All of this stuff also has Legends support for 40k. So if you see a Sicaran Venator tank hunter and you're like, I love that model, you can run it in 40k, just not in tournament. But with your casual friends, go for it. It's probably overcosted points-wise and under-tuned abilities-wise, but you can run it.
Don't underestimate the power of communities, particularly those you'll find a la Reddit, because in like the last week, I have seen one fella making 40k data cards using, I think, the Game Data Cards website to make the 30k Mechanicum stuff 40k. Cool. I have seen a separate person backslide 40k orcs into 30k with all the like bloated, stat sheet war gear stuff, because like their game group was really into HH, but their one 40k only will play orc player was like, I'm not playing orcs. And they're like, okay, well, what if we make you rules?
What if we make orcs? Yeah.
And they did.
And that's super cool.
They have like a whole book that's fake orcs for Horus Heresy.
But also, the orcs existed in the 30,000 millennium. Like, that was a big enemy. Like, there's no reason, canonically even, that the orcs couldn't be involved in 30k rules. So, go for it. And another big positive for Horus Heresy is, if you can't get a 40k kit, there might be a 30k equivalent that with a bit of kit bashing, you could have up and running. They have Rhino tanks. They have Predators and Vindicators. They have Dreadnoughts. They have all of this stuff that you would play in 40k that is out of stock constantly.
They have Fulcrum.
Well, that's resin. We're not talking about the resin here, okay? The Horus Heresy character series is amazing, and if it wasn't resin, I would probably spend money.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're off topic again. We need to...
Nah. Last thing, I swear, this will be like 30 seconds.
Cool.
But you can do it because I will not if I do it, it's not 30 seconds. You can do it. Horus Heresy, but small.
Horus Heresy, but small.
Epic scale. Legions Imperialis.
Oh man, I forgot about Imperialis.
Same.
Holy moly.
Imagine your Horus Heresy range, but they're tiny, and you can have massive games where like your normal base and model has like actually like 4 or 5 tanks on it.
I kind of find this interesting. I've watched a couple of games that are played. It uses alternating activations like 40k, like Kill Team, and you get to play with some really cool models that would normally cost you thousands of dollars for much less. They're just smaller. Legions Imperialis got their release edition last year?
I think end of 23.
End of 23? I was like, it's either the end of 23 or early 24.
Just another bloody game.
But like, it's another one of those, our old version died, let's refresh it. Because originally it was Legions Titanicus?
They've always had these epic scale things. Epic was like back in like the late 80s or 90s or whatever it was that Warhammer came out. Like it's always been there.
Yeah.
But then I wrote when I was doing like this compilation of models, I actually wrote like, yeah, Legions Titanicus and Aeronautica Imperialis. Then I went to Warcom and it was like the last article was like 22, 23. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay, it's just Legions now.
Yep. And it means that they don't have the sort of support that they used to have where you could have aerial fights while on the ground and like put it all into like one sort of campaign like you used to be able to do with Aeronauticus and Epic and all of that. But how do you feel about bringing a Warlord Titan to a game of 40k without breaking the game or your wallet? If this is something that you like, play Imperialis. The sculpts aren't obviously as high detail because they are on a very, very small scale. You have like 3 Terminators or like 5 Space Marines on one base. The idea is that this is a 40k battle zoomed out. Well, sorry, 30k because it is 30k. Zoomed out. You get to play with Titans and huge amounts of trucks and tanks and giant Mechanicum spiders and all sorts of really cool models that if you were to play this at 28mm scale would break your wallet. But to use the the Mechanicum bearded tank as an example, buying one of those tanks is like $100 and something. But in Legions Imperialis, you can get 4 for 50.
Sure can.
Like that's the level of like, in terms of a cool thing and playing on a bigger scale, it's a really sick idea. You can get like 8 tanks for $50, but they're very small.
They're very small, teeny tiny. If you have a 3D printer, easy scale down.
As someone who has painted one Legions Imperialis model, and it was a Rhino, just focus on 1 or 2 key details and it will look very nice. You do not need to blow this out of proportion. But if you want to paint knights, but you're scared of painting knights, for $80 you can get 4 Cerastus knights.
Oh. Oh.
Hey. And you can have these games that look really intimidating from above.
Yeah. Look at your models from like 3 feet away, and does it look good? Cool, you're done.
Yeah. But you also get to play with some models that normally you wouldn't get access to because of points limits and things like that. You can have a whole bunch of drop pods and titans and titan killers and just an army of tanks, and it'll look really cool and you won't break your budget. And let's be real, alternating activations is cool. And it's
Very
got this
fun.
weird mechanic where you like pre-plan your movements in like a strategy phase and then reveal them one at a time. So you kind of have to pre-plan where you want your stuff to go. It's an interesting little game system as well to go with it. But in terms of releases, they didn't have too much released.
I think a campaign book, and occasionally when they do like the Auxilia and the Mechanicum, like a month later, they'll be like, anyway, We scaled it down. Here you go. Have fun, Legions players.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is. It's here's all the 30k stuff, but on a smaller scale.
But also Dark Mechanicum for the first time ever.
Dark Mechanicum confirmed? If only. Please. Not so much a model discussion on what they released, but just a little primer on what Imperialis really is.
Oh, I think the 40k bells are finally ringing.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start with Kill Team. Checks!
I think Kill Team Last is good. They had a great year. 40k, it wasn't really the 40k year. The year before that was the 40k year. This is the Sigmar year we're talking about. 40k entered the second year of its 10th edition. We had a couple of much desired / well-received range refreshes, the Angels of Death, both the Dark ones and the Bloody ones. We also had Tau get a sub-faction of Kroot, finally. Every other army that had a book come out was pretty bad as a book from what I can tell, but everyone got a little character, like the AdMech guy on stilts. And probably the most contentious point for everybody is combat patrols suck now. That's 40k.
Oh man, combat... Wow, is that all we're going to do for...
No, I'm kidding. We're going to dive in and talk about what we want to. But
yeah,
that's
for
all
sure.
the talking points.
But yes, so they started the year off with our second Crusade supplement in the Crusade Pariah Nexus, which is also where they pushed with their their tournament stuff as well. So we got a Pariah Nexus deck that is the current focus of where the edition went for 2024. We had Orcs and their Beast Snaggers release. We had Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun, which is a really cool little model with a lot of little details, and the Stomper Box. They obviously had a few Stompers sitting in warehouse and needed to get rid of them, because no one buys the Stomper because there's too many points for not enough guns.
But none of these models except the mech was new, though.
Yeah, so we had the Big Mech for Orkies, and also Uthak Blackhawk as their new epic hero.
Well, not really. Black Library characters come and go like the wind.
Yes, they do.
They're all legends.
Chaos Space Marines got 2 new Chaos Lords. They are very good sculpts. There's not much else to say. We had a Tactical Jetpack Chaos Lord, and we have the Standard Chaos Lord. Sculpts are good. Not much to really say about them. We had Shield Captain for Adeptus Custodes, the fattest of boys, as I like to call him.
He's squatting real hard.
He's squatting real hard. We had the Kroot, as
Canoness.
you said.
We're definitely now just talking too long. We're tripping over each other.
We definitely are. I'm just running through my list. We had Kroot, which had a very big release. We had Lone Spears, Kroot Hounds, couple of characters, new carnivores. They were one of the bigger releases, the Rampages, Kroot Rider.
I liked it.
It was a cool release.
Need more of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. We had... What else did we get? That was 2023.
I can tell you. We had the Jump Canoness for Sisters, the Big Brain Benedictus for the Gene Stealer Cult. You already mentioned the Shield Captain and the Big Mac. We did have the Imperial Agents Force, which is mainly just repackaging kill teams into an army, but a couple of things were a little updated, including Diaper Boy.
Diaper Boy. Yep.
Oh my god. Inquisitor Kotias, one of the sickest Inquisitor artwork fellows around. Big hammer, cyber eagle thingy. And they did that to him? His new model's atrocious. It's a nothing model.
Hey, they can't all be wins, alright?
His old model is objectively far superior. They couldn't even have him, carry the hammer on his shoulder. Or have his eagle on his arm. No, the eagle's a separate model. And he's leaning on it because he's an old man or something now. They could have given us Chair Guy.
I mean... Overall, the Imperial Agents release was pretty underwhelming and undersold. They don't even have an army rule.
It's not an army, it's a casual fluff piece wearing a book for a mask.
I wanted so badly for Imperium Agents to be decent, and it kind of just feels like less than a supplement masked as a codex.
It's less than the sum of its parts, you're right. You want to put like the occasional Inquisitor in your Imperium force, you want to bring the occasional assassin, but now they have 25% tariffs on them because Imperial Agents exist. Don't need to go into that rabbit hole. But yeah, Imperial Agents is just a sad moment, considering we got Dark Angels and Blood Angels glow ups. All the new models are sick, but they did lose a lot of models to the Legends graveyard.
I feel like that Legends graveyard is overly full at the moment. But Dark Angels got some very cool models. I really like the Inner Circle companion models. I hate seeing them on the other side of the table.
Dark Angels is a weird one. We got Azrael and the Lion during the Arcs of Omen campaign. Mm-hmm. It's like, cool, there you go, look at them. And then like, here's Asmodai and Belial. And also here are Deathwing Knights and Inner Circle champions. And you think, nice. And then you like think about it a little bit harder. And then you're like, where is Samael? Where is Ezekiel? Where are the Blackwing Knights or the Raven Wing Knights, whatever they're called? What, like, where are their various land speeders? Where is like an army thing for Green Wing with all of their Hellblasters and stuff? Like, what? Did you forget to leave it in the oven for the last like 10 minutes?
They needed to save something for 11th edition.
No, they didn't. And then Blood Angels was similar. We got Dante during the Arcs of Omen, gorgeous model. But then we got Asterath, Lematus, Sanguinor, a generic Blood Angels captain, Sanguinary Priest, and Sanguinary God. And then we got Upgrade Sprues for turning Primaris into Death Company. Upgrade Sprues? Not even a unit of Death Company? And meanwhile, we lost like Furioso, Dreadnought, Baal Predator, Librarian Dreadnought. Good riddance to you, Flesh Terror mob. Gee whiz, bye, Seth. Yeah, like it's not even a Death Company Dreadnought. It's Brutalis with a different color on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at these things, you're like, yes, yeah, oh, you look good. Good army. Where'd everyone go? Hello? Where is everybody?
And that's kind of the feel of all of 10th edition, right? Is where did everyone go?
Into the Great Rift.
Their Legends rules are going to be incredibly bloated. It's insane when you're list building and you hit the remove Legends and more than half of your army list disappears.
I'm reminded of the Cadian homeworld, RIP. So many Cadians die, right? So what they would do is they would put a bunch of people in a grave, write the names on the grave, and then they literally had a guy in Cadia whose job it is to wait until the tombstones had eroded enough that you no longer see the names, and then you could put more people in the grave. And that's the analogy I'm going with for 10th edition. So many things are going away that you're going to forget about the things that have already gone away.
Yep. That was a very negative 40k supplement. We need to bring some positivity back.
What are we getting for 40k this year? Nachman Gauntlet. That looks like a very well-received Crusade supplement. It's the Year of Chaos. We've just had Emperor's Children, and that's
pre-order.
Fine. Yeah. We, in January, had Death Corps of Kree, which are excellent looking, and their army rule is fun. We've had the Eldari's second supplement, and boy, oh boy, mwah, chef's kiss. Not too much is missing from their range now. So, overall, we've had a solid 3 months of the year. I'm very curious to see what the rest of Year of Chaos brings. I hope you get your Chaos Knights.
I'm really interested in how things are going so far. When you look at last year and the year before, most of the armies only received 1 or 2 models, with a couple receiving a kind of range refresh. So far this year, all 3 armies that they've released or plan to release so far have had major release windows and model releases. Death Corps got quite a few models. Eldari got almost all of their aspect warriors and their leaders, and then even EC got a decent range of models. It's just unfortunate what they did with their codex.
Yeah. Good first wave, bad codex.
Like, it's pretty good overall for models released this year.
Yeah. It's already on par with the range refreshes of last year.
We are expecting a range, like a fair range for World Eaters. Expecting, I said. Doesn't necessarily mean it will happen.
I'm hoping Thousand Suns finally get some stuff.
Thousand Suns, knowing my luck, will get one new sorcerer.
You'll get Apprentice Sorcerer.
Apprentice Sorcerer. No jokes.
Give him rules!
And we are also expecting Death Guard, who have at least a model revealed so far. I imagine they probably won't get much else, because their range is pretty good. And then we have all 4 of the God-aligned Chaos factions with a decent model range.
Yeah.
On top of that, we're expecting a few others based on their roadmap.
Salamanders, Black Templars, Grey Knights.
We are unsure exactly what the Salamander character is doing in this.
Vulcan he stand.
This showing, but everything else kind of makes sense. I'm curious to see what, as a Chaos Knight player, we get for Chaos Knights. Whether or not they release Imperial Knights at the same time or similar timing. They definitely, on their last year's earlier roadmap, said Imperial Knights would be coming this year, but then suddenly they're missing from this roadmap. So...
They need Imperial Knights Pokemon Red v Blue release window.
Yeah, right? Apparently that's how they do everything for Knights. Which makes sense. There's not a super lot of models, and they are very similar in terms of what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super curious to see what the Salamander's character is doing in this list when...
It's just Vulcan. I guarantee you it's
I
Vulcan. I
assume it's just Vulcan who stand, but...
He's an old resin character. Give him a glow up.
But maybe they get their prime up.
One per edition, eh? One per edition. And this is the dude that can't die, so you would think.
You say one per edition.
One per good versus bad, you know?
Yeah.
We had Gilliman, then we had Mortarion. We then had...
The Lion and Angron.
Actually, no, we had Gilliman come out with Magnus and Mortarion. Ooh. And then we had Angron v Lion. Now we're going to have Fulgrim v... who?
V... Salamanders might get their Primarch back.
I set that up with a very long V just to say Salamanders.
Salamanders! Which, honestly, if I was going to build an army for Space Marines, Salamanders are kind of my guys.
Yeah, they're cool. Did you know they're the friendliest Space Marines?
I don't care about that part. I care that they make good stuff. Kind of like the weaponsmiths and the artisans of Space Marines in a way. I like this forge sort of feel, and I would really want to lean into it.
I can't believe Iron Warriors will finally receive their arch nemesis, the Salamanders. Did that just make you sick?
A small bit.
Sorry, Dawnheads.
Sorry, Imperial Fists. No one likes your yellow colouring. It's too hard to paint.
Well, look at the time. Should we say what's really hyped up my 40k enthusiasm as a whole with little drip feed, little IV into the blood? I don't know if that's where IV goes. Kill Team, always banging. We had a lot.
Kill Team is on fire, man.
I got a little list here for you, man. Then go nuts talking about it.
Go for it.
We had the final season of Kill Team 2.0 with the lukewarm Beta Decima rule set. It's okay, but we had Space Marine Scouts versus Striking Scorpions Aspects, Chef's Kiss. We had Night Lords versus Mandrakes, Chef's Kiss.
Oh.
We then had Votan Jaegiers versus Genestealer Brood Brothers. Yeah, they're alright. Then we had Kill Team 3.0 release with both the Hive Storm box with the Tempestus Aquilons versus Vespid, Chef's Kiss. We then had the starter set separate from the special box, which brought back those weird blind box booster pack vibe Marines of both generic Space Marines and Death Guard Marines. Wow, who saw that coming? It wasn't me.
With some very nice sculpts, by the way, because they were designed to be a single purchase product.
And that's not to forget, we've already had in this year, I think it was this year, it could have been the end of last year.
No, it was definitely this year.
Now, the Brutal and Cunning box, where they had Orc Tank Busters versing Ratlings, of all people, for the Imperial Guard. Didn't see that on my bingo card.
Yeah,
and
right.
we've just had Blood and Zeal announced, which is ecclesiarchy, like confessors, priests, yada do, versus some weird bionic adjusted cornate cultists. Like, huh? This game's killing it.
Yeah, man.
Take it away, man.
I mean, you kind of covered everything. Like, Kill Team is on fire. They are doing some really cool stuff. The terrain, while was a little underwhelming for this edition, like the edition launch being more ruins, the new Ecclesiarchy box has a sick-ass Sisters statue as their terrain piece, which looks so cool.
It's an old terrain piece coming back, but yes, it's gorgeous.
So cool, dude. On top of that, yes, we're getting a Khorne kill team at last, which does lean into the more jackally cultist vibe, unfortunately. It would have been nice to see, like, one Khorne berserker in the mix or something, just as, like, your leader, but we'll take it.
Elite Cultist is a newer take for the Chaos Mob.
But it's super cool. The Ecclesiarchy models are really cool. There's even Cherub with gun.
Cherub with gun. Yeah. There's a Death Cult Assassin. But it's not some chick in a cat suit. I don't know how I feel about that now.
But also, Death Cult Assassins are in Legends. It's a very mixed hodgepodge kind of kill team with just like a bunch of... It feels very inquisitorial.
A lot of these models are spiritual reimaginings of the old Inquisitor board game.
Yep. And you can see it, but this definitely feels more Inquisitor than necessarily anything else. You have like random priest, cherub.
Yeah, but Johnny, on the announce article they said it's Sororitas tagged. It's not Imperial Agents.
You say that, but when I look at these models, I see a lot of dudes.
I mean, the Sisters are Ecclesiarchy, and Imperial Agents meant to be Inquisition. Separate entities, I get it, but...
Tell that to Drill Abbott with his weird sideburns, alright? Or Confessor with his beard. He really belongs in a Sisters army, doesn't he?
Yeah. Did you see the chainsaw with the underslung flamer?
I sure did.
Actually, not even a chainsaw, it's an actual chainsaw.
It's really cool.
Man. Well, what won the community models of the year? If you had to guess, I think you know actually, but if you had to guess, what do you think would be the most popular fantasy model released last year?
Fantasy model, was it Big Flesh Eater Quartz Dude?
Boom, you nailed it. Usharan was the community pick.
Such a cool model.
What was the 40k pick?
Curveball, in my opinion. Well deserved, but very frankly shocking.
Who?
Nemesis Claw Kill Team.
Yeah. Nemesis Claw Kill Team. An upgrade sprue won 40k's vote.
Right? Like, while it's a very cool upgrade sprue, I was not expecting upgrade sprue to win Model Kit of the Year.
I mean, it's a really good indication we could get more in the future.
Night Lord support coming. If they can do salamanders, maybe we get Night Lords as a release in 2026.
Hell yeah.
I'd be down for it.
Any ideas on what your top models were from last year?
Nemesis Claw Kill Team.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I think it was a very well put together product. I really do. But on top of that, like, last year didn't really stand out. I don't feel like there was a big character release for 40k this year, which really allowed something that was just an upgrade sprue to win, right? I thought that the big mech with shock attack gun was actually a pretty cool model. I really liked the way they went with it. It was very classical while being very well detailed. I think the cruit range was very well put together overall. But outside of that, it was not the greatest for like a sick, cool model sort of release for 2024. I feel like 2023 had a few bigger, cooler looking models that came out.
I feel that.
But if I had to give it to like model of the year for me, it is probably the Melkador battle tank.
Really?
It's so cool, dude.
It is. I just wasn't expecting it to be your your top.
I think part of it is it kind of just looks a little derpy with the flamer loadout with the trailer on the back. But also, like, it's so cool for a 40k adjacent, we'll say, sci-fi model. I think it was one of the cooler ones.
Yeah, I think so.
What about you? What did you find?
What tickled my
sang
fancy?
to you the most?
Honorable mentions. I will give it to for 40k. 40k models was my honorable mention. Can you believe it?
Yeah, right.
I really liked both Asmodai for the Dark Angels because of his weird smoky base.
Yep.
And Lemata's just big, angry chaplain done in El Miniaturista's paint style with the glowing rib cage was...
Oh, man.
I still think about that. I'm like, that is fantastic.
You say that, but like, you mentioned El Miniaturista and he just makes me both very happy and very sad every time I see anything he does.
Yeah. But models I did really like. I have a list of 7 that I think really poked out at me, and I was like, that's sick. Coming in number 7, Zikit's Tunnel Pack for Warhammer Underworlds Emberguard launch box.
Dude on round bike.
Dude on wheel and rat with bomb strapped to it.
The bomb rat. Yep. Fair.
Hilarious.
Fair.
Coming in number 6, you won't believe me, but I really vibe with the Necro Sphinx for Tomb King's Old World.
All right. Yeah.
It is a sick looking model that speaks out at my 8-year-old passing interest in Egyptology.
It's my biggest problem with Old World is the new models look so good, but out of place in this army of old trash.
You've seen the Necro Sphinx, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that with a little bit of kit bashing as a Mutilith Vortex Beast. You see it, right?
Don't have to threaten me with a good time.
You see it, right?
Sure do.
All right, number 5, Hermiatus from Necromunda.
Yep.
The Genestealer Twisted Mechanicus guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Coming in number 4, Iridan the Witness for Sigmar Stormcast. Grim Reaper looking fellow on Giant Griffin. I see that and I'm like, yeah, if that guy was leading my army, I would be playing this game. Iridan? Fantastic. You've seen this guy, right? Iridan the Witness?
Yeah.
Oh my god, with the little flame coming off him.
So cool.
Coming in 3, the Triaros Conveyor for Horus Heresy, the beard tank.
Yep.
Coming in number 2, Vizik Scour for Age of Sigmar Skaven. That model I looked at when it released, I was like, wow.
Yep.
And I saw a video by Pete the Wargamer, who's notorious for his great kit bashing. He did a Lost Primarch kit bash based off Vizik Scour as this clone lore geneticist fellow. And both of these things, Vizik Scour Fantasy and someone looking like him for 40k just got me very excited.
I definitely see it. And such a cool model.
And in number 1, you don't have to guess.
No. It's Mr. Flesh Eater Courts himself.
Mr. Flesh Eater Court himself, Usharan with his big F-off mace.
And this is why I only mentioned sci-fi as what I thought was the coolest model, because frankly, your 1 and 2 are by far the 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm surprised there are 2 Skaven in my list, considering I won't run them, but they look great.
Man, yep, they do.
Voila, almost 2 hours of recording a bunch of models. How about that, eh?
That's it.
I like this episode. It was fun. It's nice to just talk about the stuff we spend our days and evenings looking at, building, putting together, playing with. It's like kids in a toy store, except now with adult dialogue.
I'm very excited for what's to come in the next couple of months.
I did forget what's coming for Sigmar. Zombie Dragon.
Dude, zombie dragon. Oh my god, that dragon is so cool.
Right. It's very fun.
If only it wasn't leading an army of skeletons.
Yeah, I get you. But
like, it's just
shelf
the
model.
skeleton. Yeah, it's definitely a model that I'm like, do I pick one up just to paint?
Maybe.
He is super cool, dude.
Bloody heck he is.
I don't even care about the vampire, just the dragon.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny.
That's it.
Closing remarks?
Overall, last year, not too big and fancy for 40k,
It's fun.
but damn, what a year for Sigmar and fantasy in general.
Pop off, Queen.
This year, looking real spicy for 40k. Not so much for fantasy, so it's good to see that the tables are turning a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm more excited for what's to come this year than I was hyped about what has come last year. And I'm not just saying that because chaos.
I thought you loved the Angels of Death, mate.
I'm just... no.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm building up my own... Well, not my own. I'm building up a new army to call my own. And nothing of it's new, but it's so hard when I'm in, like, a spending mood and seeing, like, what's coming out. I'm like, I could do Deathcore. I could do Eldari. But then you have to sort of, reel yourself back in and say, no, you have a project. You should finish that project first.
Yes.
And it's a real testament to the power of the artistry of this game and universe and hobby range all as one, that you are pulled in multiple directions. A lot of people are. There are a lot of people that are not, but there are a lot of people that are, and I feel that pain. I feel that. I see everything. I'm like, yes, that's cool. Yes, that's cool. But,
Yes. Overall, I think the thing I would really like to do in the near future is get involved in a skirmish game semi-regularly with our playgroup.
Underworlds.
Even if it's kill team to start with. I really want to get involved in those little skirmish games, mix it up a little bit, have some stuff so you can be like, oh, this month we'll do Underworld, this month we'll do kill team, this month we'll try some stuff and see what we can enjoy. And I think Underworld's a good place to start because for what is theoretically not that big an investment, we can have quite a few teams ready to go.
Yeah, and not always your players are gonna have the availability. So if you can get away with still playing a game that's, related but adjacent, that's cool. That's good vibes. Doesn't feel bad.
I was going to say, it also has a backup, so if we have a couple of people who aren't available, instead of having to put up with a 3-player 40k game, we could do a 3-player skirmish game, which is significantly easier to run and quicker than sitting there and waiting for 2 opponents to finish their turns.
Yep. All right. Shall we round it out then?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Skirmish. It's been fun talking with you.
It sure has. It's been a quick 2 hours.
Honestly, fair. Can't believe the time I'm reading in my screen right now on the recording software.
But very positive, so
Love that. We'll catch you next time.
keep on painting, enjoy your hobbies, make time where you can, get Monster Hunter Wilds.
I was just going to say, watch out for Monster Hunter Wilds. All right. Bye.
See ya.